A mixed panel, including Chief Minister Alfred Cannan, Manx Utilities Chief Executive Philip King, Department of Infrastructure Minister Tim Crookall, and executive members of the utility body, answered questions from the floor. Residents were provided with a presentation from senior officers from Manx Utilities explaining the phases they will be taking to provide the island with renewable energy, which also includes solar panels on government buildings. The consultants for the project, Wardell Armstrong, went through the process they used to pick the 3 preferred sites: the Round Table, Slumannoch and Eriestane. Ian Ramsbottom, technical director, went through the elimination process. It removed areas which were 500 metres away from residential estates, a 5-kilometre boundary from the airport, which they requested, and ones which would cause significant changes to road infrastructure. One site up north was removed because it could have meant changes to the TT course. Minister Cannan says having a decade left on the power station means renewables are the responsible approach.
Do you think the government is competent enough to deliver this programme of the wind farms down here in Eriestane and Skird?
Well, it would be delivered by the Manx Utilities Authority, but yes, the government's competent enough to do this.
And I know it came up in Tynwald or Keys earlier this week that it could be carried out by a private investor. Is this something you would still consider?
So let's be clear, we're still at a very early stage here. My presence here today was really to talk about the overarching policy. It was not to discuss the site or the site selection. That is for much further down the line.
And government doesn't have the best track record with on-budget and on-time projects. Is this something that you've considered going forward, and this could become another one of those kind of projects?
Look, there's a long way to go yet, but we do need to get on with the renewable energy projects. There's a lot of planning, as you can see, has already gone into this project. The costings are still being put together in their entirety. But very careful planning with the right resources and the right considerations, this can be delivered.
But you're only halfway through the term of this government and there's still 2.5 years left. Are you sure that it's going to be finished in this term, or do you think it will go on to the next term?
Well, the Council of Ministers has taken, I believe, a very responsible approach to asking for 20 megawatts of on-island renewables to be delivered by 2026. And the reason that we need to do that is that we have got a decade left before our power station is effectively turned off. And in that period, not only have we got to ensure that our energy supply is consolidated by putting an interconnector. Under the current policies, we also want to try and maximise our on-island renewables to provide security, greater security and independence for the island, and also to maximise our economic opportunities. So we've set a target because we believe it's absolutely vital that we start to make some real progress with this, and that we start to demonstrate both to business and the public that we will secure the island's national energy supplies by 2030.
The cost of the project came up during the meeting's Q&A section, especially around who is paying for the wind farms and what it might mean further down the line. Mr. King says he hopes if the project is completed and the turbines are built, it could mean cheaper electricity and greater affordability for residents.
I just thought it was an amazing evening. It was very, very lively. There was a lot of passion, and behind that passion there was some real concerns, and we've taken them on board. I mean, that was the main thing for us, that we came here, we engaged face to face, we listened, and we understood those concerns, because they're going to have a major impact on the progress of this project.
And how will you be addressing the concerns that were raised at the meeting here tonight?
Okay, so we're going through this environmental impact assessment. A big part of that is a socio-economic aspect, where we take on board real issues on the ground in the location, and they have to be assessed, and they need to be mitigated, or can they be avoided? We need to really assess them and understand them properly. So.
What work will need to be done to the current road network to transport the turbines? I know we heard it here tonight, but I need something on mic.
Yes, I'm actually not the expert on this, but there is a real low invasive route that we've established, 2 routes actually, one possibly from Douglas, one possibly from Castletown Beach, and the methods that have been adopted should have minimal impact on that road network.
So Castletown is being considered as an option for a landing bay type
I
thing?
think it's not the preferred option, but it's still an option, yeah.
If this is done and finished, and you get the wind turbines and you get the wind farm in Eriestane and Skird, how will it benefit taxpayers? In layman's terms, how is this going to benefit the people of the south and the people of the wider island?
Mainly stability. So what it will do is, we're in a new world now. For the last 10 years, if I go back to 2010, the gas price, it's all been quite stable. The last 2 years have been extremely volatile, and it's really unclear and uncertain what the future price will be. What this will do is provide a certainty on quite an important component, maybe about a quarter of our electricity requirement for the Isle of Man in the future, and it will be homegrown green energy that is produced and consumed on the island.
And will it be cheaper?
Well, that's what I was trying to say. Nobody knows what we're comparing about in the future. The prices at the moment, if I compare it to the moment, it should be cheaper than the moment, but we don't know where today's price is going to go in terms of generation costs.
Arbory and Rushen Commissioners has organised a series of meetings since the news came out, and Deputy Chair Jane Glover says this one tonight probably won't be the last.
As soon as they had announced that the preferred site was Stony Skird and that they were going to be doing the environmental impact assessment, that's when we decided, right, okay, MUA said once they've chosen their site, they'd do a public meeting, so we thought now's the right time to get the people engaged.
And how do you feel like it went from your view of the commissioners? Has it reflected what you've been hearing from your residents quite a lot?
Yes, I think it has. I mean, what you will have felt in the room tonight, there are a lot of emotions around this subject, a lot of interest around this subject. I think we had a great guest panel to answer all the questions on top of the presentations that they've done. The turnout was fantastic, which we expected, to be honest. And I think there are people on both sides of the fence, but the majority here tonight have got a lot of concerns, and they still have questions that want those answered, really.
I assume this won't be the last public meeting you and the commissioners will organise about this?
Definitely not. Actually, one of the gentlemen, Mr. Ramsbottom from Wardle Armstrong, has already said, can we come back, please? Because this is an ongoing thing. They will find out more information. And actually there's disinformation out there as well. Some of the things that were said tonight, you heard the two sides of the argument. So there's obviously further conversations to be had, things like microplastics, the science behind that. So they've said, please can we come back, we've got more information to share with people.
Good evening, Tim Crookall, Minister for Infrastructure.
Just want to know why this is the first public meeting you'd attended. Obviously I know you're not the chair of the MUA anymore, but there have been a series of them previously. Why did you decide to come down to this one and not the others?
The reason I came to this one is the first one I've been invited to, if you like. We did the interviews, the meeting, with the local authority and the government conference, but this is the first public meeting. But like it was explained at the beginning, you just got to be careful with the process, where you are in that process and all sorts, just so as you don't get people to opine on certain things at certain stages and then they would take themselves out of the planning process. So it was all a matter of timing, and I think hopefully a lot of people understand that. I absolutely understand that people are upset. I really do understand people are upset about this and wanted to have their views. We've been hearing their views one way or another, whether it be through social media or in meetings and things. But this is the first public meeting, and it won't be the last one, that's for certain. It's good to see people from around the island here tonight as well.
But there was a public meeting you were invited to and provided a statement to that was held, I think it was in November. It was earlier in the winter. I just wondered why you decided to provide a statement to that one while you were still in your role as chair of the MUA and not turn up.
I don't remember that meeting at all. I can't remember.
I do, because I covered it.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah.
That's all my questions.
When was it?
I'd have to go back and check my records, but I remember Phil Gordon distinctly reading out the statement.
No, that's right. Yes. So there was a meeting. We had a meeting with the commissioners, and then very shortly afterwards they wanted to have a public meeting. But at that time we couldn't. We didn't have anything extra to tell them except what we already told the commissioners. So it was all a matter of timing. Yeah.
Okay. That's all my questions. If anything I've missed off or you want to add on?
No, I would just like to say, obviously I'm not with Manx Utilities anymore, but I absolutely understand, and I thank everybody for giving us opportunity or having this opportunity to ask their questions, for Manx Utilities, the Chief Minister and myself, and Dr. Hayward to answer those questions, and the consultants. I understand, we understand people are upset by this. It's a process that we're going to go through. There's been no decisions yet. There's been no deposits done. So, there's been a bit of money spent on doing the EIAs and things, but absolutely it's work that needs to be done if we're going to progress with this. But I understand where people are coming from when they're upset for whatever reason it is, and there are different reasons, but we totally understand that, and that's why we're delighted to have the opportunity to talk to them tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for making it to the end of the Little Manx Radio newscast. You are obviously someone with exquisite taste. May I politely suggest you might want to subscribe to this and a wide range of Manx Radio podcasts at your favourite podcast provider, so our best bits will magically appear on your smartphone. Thank you.